Welcome to the Namoli Family Stadium, and getting set here for the Tampa Spartans to take on the Rollins Tars in what has been a very active couple of days here of postseason softball in NCAA play. Spartans hosting, and we've seen 2 games yesterday, 2 games so far today. This one here about to get underway, and there will be at least 1 game tomorrow, if not possibly 2. And you see that despite this being their home ballpark, the Spartans are actually the visiting team for this game, and so you see Rollins out there warming up, and it's going to be Ashley Worrell as the starting pitcher. And what an amazing story for her, because she has just not stopped pitching since yesterday and just finished up a game here about an hour ago against Embry-Riddle that went extra innings. And lo and behold, a little bit of water, change of uniforms, and she and her Rollins Tars teammates are ready to go here against the Spartans. And so Lauren Fantone steps in to lead it off for UT. I'm Bruce Wozniak, along with Taylor Stolworthy, and we are ready to go with the 3rd game of the day.
Yeah, Bruce, you were mentioning Worrell just coming off a start in the chaotic win that Rollins just had over Embry-Riddle. And the first pitch taken, strike 1. Worrell, 141 pitches in that game and 9 innings pitched, racked up 8 strikeouts, only surrendering 3 walks, 8 hits, and a single earned run. I have to wonder just how far Worrell can go here, but she looked fine in the previous game, so I imagine she'll be in the circle for quite a while against the Spartans. That one outside, ball 1. Fantone's count is now even. Of course, Laura Fantone in left field for the Spartans, the leadoff hitter, hitting very well this season, and always a consistent on-base player for the Spartans.
Spartans with a victory yesterday over Embry-Riddle.
That's going to be a grounder to short and toss the first for the first out of the inning. And indeed, Tampa was able to defeat Embry-Riddle yesterday by a score 3-2 with a walk-off in the bottom of the 7th. This morning at noon, they faced off against Valdosta State, losing 5-4 despite getting pretty close in the 7th inning, getting a comeback to go only lose 5-4. And they find themselves here in a win-or-go-home match against Rollins, who's had a similar trip. They lost 1-0 to Valdosta State, and of course, just coming off a hot win over Embry-Riddle. And now, the winner of this match goes on for a rematch against Valdosta State in the regional final, which will occur tomorrow at 1 p.m. So with 1 out, now up Lily Keister. Keister drops the bunt. Throw to first is in time. That'll be the 2nd out of the inning.
The Spartans' 5-4 loss this afternoon to Valdosta State snapped a 3-game winning streak. So UT looking to get back in the win column here. And as Taylor just mentioned, trying to advance for a revenge game tomorrow against the Blazers.
That one's going to be taken high, ball 1.
Batter is Mariah Galehouse, who will also be the starting pitcher for UT in the bottom of the 1st.
Gilhouse similarly started out for the Spartans earlier today, but was replaced in the 2nd inning after a sluggish start, meaning she'll have a lot more stamina left in the tank, rather than Worrell, who still focused head in the game, but that arm has already had so many miles put on it today.
Galehouse, we saw yesterday, come in to relieve Mary Beth Feldman, and then the reverse in the game this afternoon. Galehouse started, and as Taylor just mentioned, was lifted, and it was Feldman that took over. And Galehouse, the starting pitcher here in this one.
That one lands low, ball 2. Always good to have a pitcher-pitcher duel at the plate, as well as a pitcher. It's funny because you have to think like a pitcher from the circle, and then think like a hitter from the batter's box. Give you an extended sense of view. Fouled away. Count goes to 2-2 now.
Our game temp temperature for this one, 84 degrees. And it's just been a beautiful day, save for just a little bit of rain that we saw during the first game of the day when the Spartans were playing Valdosta State. And it did not delay the game at all, and has just been beautiful ever since.
The 2-2, that's going to be grounded. Worrell doesn't pick it up immediately. Throw to first in time. 3 groundouts to find the first inning for the Spartans. And, as we mentioned as well, The coin flip, Spartans were ultimately the away team, so entering the bottom of the first, it's Rollins as the home team. Still funny to call the Spartans as the away team at their home soil. We'll be back at the bottom of the first. Playoff softball continues after this.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
We are back in the Moley Family Stadium. Bottom half of the first inning underway. The Tars get a chance to strike back against the Spartans. Ashley Troutman leads off for Rollins. It'll be interesting to see Tampa. They wore white and black in the first game, but now wear a full black uniform. Rollins wore full black uniforms in their first game, and now wear a white and blue uniform. That first pitch taken in zone, strike one. Gilhouse, a tough start. Again, uncharacteristic for her to struggle from the circle, but it did happen last time out. Gilhouse looking to improve here and has a lot of energy after a pretty long break. That's going to be lined to short. Ballmer can't get it. First base hit of the game for Rollins, and they had an electric ninth inning, scoring 4 runs, so maybe, just like the Spartans were at the start, scoring 3 runs against Valdosta State, Rollins still a little bit of energy from their recent win and extra innings, and still have a little offensive production from that.
And keep in mind, this is a little bit of a rematch of last weekend. These two teams closed out the regular season here. They played a doubleheader on Friday and then concluded the 2022 season on Saturday and find themselves right back here head-to-head in the postseason 1 week later. Spartans took 2 of 3 that series last weekend.
Chevalier gets it for strike 1, or 2, because the first one was also a strike. Look to first, but Troutman back in time. No throw. Bryant flashes a bunt. It's going to be grounded to Russo. Gets the force at second, throw to first, not in time. The fielder's choice works, so they get the first out of the inning. And
Those
that will
games
bring up Germer.
Last weekend, Rollins won the first game of the doubleheader 1-0, and then UT won the second game 6-2, and then the following day, UT shut them out, a 3-0 victory.
So Rollins will want a little revenge game here, equal that series, and move on to face Valdosta State. Strike 1 again down the middle. Skirmer takes that one. Gilhouse ready with the 0-1 here with a runner on. Tries to drop a bunt. That goes foul. The count goes 0-2 for the number 3 hitter for Rollins. On deck, the senior catcher, Chelsea Peace.
No doubt the storyline here will be to see how much Rollins has left in the tank after not only having had to go extra innings, but that game just ended an hour ago.
Yeah, and there's a swing, but tips away for foul ball. The count stays alive. And indeed, Rollins College probably not at full strength because they are low in stamina, but they are motivated to move on to play tomorrow. Just the question is, can they go the entire distance one more time? Tampa, rested up, they probably can, but they also might see some fatigue later on. It's always taxing to have 2 full games in one day. So with that, it's a 1-2 count now. Swing and a miss. First strikeout from Mariah Galehouse.
Really fooled Germer on that one. And as a result, 2 outs now in the bottom of the first. And the catcher, Chelsea Peace, into the batter's box for Rollins.
And that one's kind of a, well, not good if you do and not good if you don't type of pitch. There's a chopper. It's going to get down for a base hit. Picked up, so the runners will stay at first and second. But first pitch single, so good job by Peace there to keep the inning alive. 2 hits already for Rollins, so their bats are still hitting pretty well early on.
Yeah, I think someone would probably like to make the argument of the blood is flowing. They've got the momentum from the game that just finished an hour ago, but I would probably argue the other side that at some point, I don't care how well conditioned you are, it's got to catch up with you, especially playing in this Florida sun. As used to playing in Florida as they are and having double headers, I just think that first game had to really taken an awful lot out of Rollins.
That first pitch taken outside, ball one. That one, good attempt to frame it, but ball two. So at the plate, of course, we've got Sarah Young. In the previous game, Sarah Young was able to get a 16-pitch at bat. She might be hoping for a similar result against Galehouse here. But she's already had 3-0, so I know she'd gladly take a 4-ball walk instead. On deck after Young, Tyler Joe Colby. Made some great plays at first defensively in the previous game. The 3-0, it's going to be lined to short, and Balmer makes the play. The inning is over. No runs on 2 hits and no errors. The first inning is done and dusted. No one scores, and we see a little bit of offense and a little bit of good fielding. What a play by Balmer. We'll be back at the top of the second inning right after this NCAA postseason softball. Back after this.
Dream I could find my way to heaven.
So we are back at Namoli Family Stadium, top of the second. Tampa batting. Here's the first pitch from Worrell. That's going to be high and outside. Ball one. So Worrell, so far today, 11 pitches in game 2. That makes her total within the past couple hours, 152 pitches. And she has been on fire for Rollins. Only 1 run conceded in 10 complete innings. That's going to be an infield hit. Corinne Miner, who led off for the Spartans. That's a nice little chopper that no one can catch and no one can field in time.
Yeah, UT went 3 up and 3 down in the top of the first, and so Miner leading it off here, and we're going to see Alexa Russo, Lexi Chevalier on deck, 4, 5, and 6 hitters here. And a good start for the Spartans, getting Miner aboard.
The 0-0 now for Alexa Russo. Russo tries to drop a sacrifice, pulls away. That's ball one. It's now a 1-0 count to Russo. With a runner on first, Tampa Spartans usually like to drop a sacrifice. Infield playing in anticipation. Russo misses that one, so the count goes to 1-1.
Showing bunt both times. And you have to wonder if she's going to draw the Tars into buying that and then take a full swing at one of these pitches.
Here's the 1-1. Russo fouls that one away. The count goes to 1-2.
Draw that infield in, showing bunt, and then just drop one into short outfield. Let's see what Leslie Cantor has her number 5 hitter do here.
Here's the 1-2. Wonder if she'll try a bunt again. That one's taken for ball 2. Pretty close pitch. Rolled in favor for Russo. Count goes to 2-2. We're all ready to go. The 2-2. It's going to be grounded. Gets to third. The force out is made at second. They don't get the double play at first. So fielder's choice right there puts one out on the board for Lexi Chevalier. So far, no ball has been able to reach the outfield for the Spartans. Even their base hit was just an infield little blooper. So good job by Worrell, even likely running on empty, to be pitching this strong and forcing only ground balls. That one goes foul, but it could have easily been yet another.
Yeah, and similarly, you have to credit Rollins for trying to turn the double play, because they are, as you mentioned, running on fumes here and weren't successful, but give them credit for trying. Keeping the lead runner out second.
That one's going to be taken. Ball one. 1-1 count for Chevalier. Spartans offense did really well in game one and were able to score 4 runs, but unfortunately conceded 5 and find themselves here. They're going to want to generate some more offensive again. There's a flare. It's going to go foul to right. Will it land? It will. And so, count goes to 1-2.
And 3 of them chased it down for the Tars. Nobody able to get to it, which means that Chevalier will live to see another pitch in this at-bat instead of a fly out to foul territory.
The pitch from Worrell. That's going to be popped up and caught by the third base player. Good run by Germer to pick that one up. And that'll be 2 outs in the top half of the second inning to bring up Emily Jansen.
Jansen, the first base player, and 2 outs for her now.
That one's going to be taken high, ball 1.
And nothing to work with in terms of anybody in scoring position, although she does have Russo on first base.
Worrell making sure her shoe's all set. And she's now ready to go. The 1-0 count now to Emily Jansen. Checks the wrist. In the dirt, ball 2. Two now to Emily Jansen. In the dirt again, ball 3. Now. Jansen, known for good discipline, would like a walk here with 2 outs and keep this inning alive. On deck, Stephanie Ballmer. And ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk. 2 runners on. But with 2 outs, not very stressful. It will get stressful if both find themselves making a double steal.
It's surprising to see the walk on 4 pitches, but I think you cut Worrell a little bit of a break, what with how much work she's had here.
And indeed, at that point, that's pitch 167 today, and she also went the distance in the previous day's game. So that arm is absolutely worn out, but she's still going, and even though throwing a couple balls in a row, doesn't look like she's out of gas just yet. Here's the 1-0 now. That one, just on the edge, but called a ball. Count goes to 2-0.
6 consecutive balls here.
Quite a few of them were pretty close to the zone. Here's the 2-0 now from Worrell after checking the wrist. Good attempt to frame it, but that one's outside again, ball 3. We have seen a couple players for Rollins warming up in the bullpen.
Yeah, Worrell needs to find her way back to the strike zone here in a hurry.
Bases loaded with 2 outs isn't super scary, but it's definitely not intended. That one, however, taking strike 1, finally gets one in the zone.
I think Ballmer was kind of waiting her out to see if she had 4 in a row in her again.
And I don't blame her. The 3-1, and this time it will go just a little high. Ballmer wasn't fooled by the riser. And now the bases are loaded with 2 outs.
Bottom of the order and the number 9 hitter, Mackenzie Allen. And an opportunity for the Spartans here in the top of the second. Granted, there are 2 outs, but bases loaded.
Roser Lefevre stays in the dugout, trusting in Worrell. That one's going to be ball 1. So now up, of course, Mackenzie Allen. Bases loaded. This could be huge for Tampa to try to score early, to try to get themselves playing tomorrow. That one goes for strike 1. Count now 1-1. Worrell already 30 pitches, and this will be pitch 33 coming right up here on her 3rd start of the playoff and 2nd of the day. That's going to be grounded. Picked up at short to throw to first. And safe. The Spartans will take a 1-run lead. And that was a great play by Troutman at short, but a perfectly hit ball with the quick legs of Mackenzie Allen. The Spartans strike first. And honestly, nothing wrong from Worrell. She was able to force a really good ground ball. Troutman made a good play. Allen's just that fast to beat it by a step.
Yeah, exactly. Great base running by Mackenzie Allen.
Worrell ready to go with 2 outs now. Back top of the order, Lauren Fantone. Strike 1 on the outside corner. Fantone in the 1st inning, grounded out to 2nd. The 0-1 to Lauren Fantone. Fantone pops this one up and bounces off the wall. The inning will continue.
Chelsea Peace wishing that wall was just about maybe 6 inches further back. Would have made the difference in being able to make the catch and end this inning, but Lauren Fantone staying alive here.
That one's going to be taken outside. Ball 1. Good eye from Fantone to not go for it. The count was at 0-2. Count now stays at 1-2.
Allen at first, Ballmer at second, Emily Jansen at third.
All 3 dangerous in the base path, so they're definitely not going to want a dangerous ball in play. And a run comes home on a hit by pitch. And it was Fantone doing a good job crowding the plate, limiting the space. That one drifts a little bit too far inside. Spartans lead 2-0. And we see Worrell just going back there, 2 teammates talking with each other. We do see that Roser Lefevre's still trusting in Worrell. And honestly, one would say, oh, maybe she's lost command. I think that's where she wanted it, but I think that's also where Fantone wanted it, because she was pretty close looking to try to force that to happen. So good play there by Fantone, and just unfortunate for Worrell. First pitch on the outside corner, strike 1.
This is the number 2 hitter, Lily Keister, Spartans center fielder. Base is still loaded for her.
That's going to be lined foul. Count's going to go to 0-2 now. Now this pitch coming up for Worrell will be pitch number 100, or be the 40th pitch of the game for her and the 181st of the day for Worrell. The 0-2. Keister fouls that one again, so staying alive right here.
Nice job by Keister, battling here behind 0-2 with 2 outs and licking her chops with the bases loaded, hoping to add to this lead.
Spartans have had a solid start, but Rollins are known as the comeback kings, or you could say queens, after a great comeback last time. Good take there by Keister, ball 1. And as we've learned from the previous game, we know there's quite a while to go. At the very least, 5 innings. Worrell ready and fires the 1-2. Fouled away again. Keister doing a great job of staying alive. In the first inning, Keister was out at first.
Needless to say, great crowd here watching this game.
We see quite a few Tampa fans, but also quite a few Rollins fans, many who were here earlier today and staying here to support their team on. Great to see. Here's the 1-2 one more time. Keister fouls that one away, staying alive.
Yeah, Rollins just a little over 2 hours north of here, and so their fans have come down here, and obviously the Spartans, the host site, plenty of UT fans in the stands, and a great Friday night to watch it all.
Fouled away again. Keister doing a great job of forcing a long count, although at this rate, trying to get Worrell's pitch count up is really redundant, as Worrell's going to be getting close to 200 if she's allowed to go in the third inning. So if they're not going to pull her out then, I don't think they ever will. Here's the 1-2 one more time. Lily Keister grounds that, picked up by Worrell. Worrell completes 2 innings of work, but this time the Spartans get 2 runs on 2 hits. They lead 2-0 entering the bottom half of the inning. Can Rollins get some offense going? Let's wait and see. NCAA Tournament Softball will be back after this.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
So we are back in the Moley Family Stadium. Apologize for being a little... So now the count is 1-1 to start off the bottom half of the second inning. Swing in the dirt, fouled away, 1-2 count. Leading off for Rollins, Tyler Joe Colby. Colby, some big plays at first base in the previous game. First base player for Rollins. In the circle, Gale House.
It's obviously a big psychological swing here. You know, the Tars coming from behind in that last game and now falling behind here, riding a bit of an emotional roller coaster and really needing to just focus and take it one at-bat at a time.
And this at-bat ends in a ground out. Palmer, throw to Emily Jansen.
That's great to see that hustle, though. She ran that out, you know, with as though she had fresh legs in it, as if it was their first game of the day. So Rollins very much here to compete.
And even though the 2-0 scoreline is a good lead for Tampa, there's still plenty of time for Rollins to fight back, and we saw them score 4 runs in an inning earlier. So we know that they're capable of finding a lot of offense very quickly. That first pitch is going to be taken, ball 1 outside. The 1-0. And it gets to the outfield for a base hit. Fantone stays in front to prevent extra bases. So runner is now on with 1 out.
Yeah, Taylor Waters jumped on that one and gives the Tars a base runner here with only 1 out in the bottom of the second.
Plays a little hard to see thanks to that awful glare for the setting sun, as it is late here in the beautiful Tampa sky, but it landed nearly in the gap. Fantone got in front of it, got the throw in. Waters now is on first, grounded right to Gale House, turns 1, turns 2, double play. The inning is over. Rollins gets nothing on a single hit thanks to that double play, heads-up play there from Gale House, throwing it to second, back to first. The inning is over. Spartans still lead 2-0 as we get ready for the top of the third. Tampa lost the coin flip, so they are the away team. for this game, as it is NCAA tournament regulation. So again, don't be confused when you see the Spartans on the visitors' dugout, visitors' side, and batting in the top half. We will be back. More NCAA tournament action after this.
Welcome to the University of Tampa. My name is Tucker Whitman, and I'm a junior marketing major here at UT. Today we're going to look at some of the highlights of our beautiful Riverside campus here in downtown Tampa. We'll start at Plan Hall. This historic building was opened in 1891 as the Tampa Bay Hotel, and now serves as the main academic building here at UT, with 4 floors of classrooms, as well as faculty and administrative offices. Next up, the Vaughn Center, the hub of campus life and activities. This multi-purpose building includes the campus bookstore, our primary cafeteria plus an additional food court, a theater, as well as offices and meeting rooms for student organizations. The Vaughn Center is also one of UT's residence halls, providing 5 floors of student rooms. Morsani Hall is another residence hall here at UT. In addition to housing approximately 450 students, this building offers another selection of eateries as well as a small grocery store. Now let's check out the Sykes College of Business. This academic building houses classrooms and faculty offices for UT's undergrad and graduate business students. This building also has a real-time stock trading room. Right next door is the Sykes Chapel for Faith and Values. This gorgeous interfaith chapel features a large main hall complete with a massive pipe organ, as well as meditation rooms and meeting rooms. Student healthcare is a major priority for us.
We're back in the Moldy Family Stadium. Top of the 3rd inning. Spartans ready to go. Worrell, first pitch. That's going to be fouled away by Mariah Galehouse. The two dueled earlier in the game. Galehouse grounded out in that battle, with Worrell taking the advantage. So Galehouse behind now 0-1 after that foul ball.
This is the 3, 4, and 5 part of the Spartans' order. Corinne Miner on deck, and she'll be followed by Alexa Russo.
There's a line drive. It's going to get into the gap, but not far enough to be any danger apart from a single. Because behind the shortstop and in front of left and center, Galehouse gets a good hit to open up the 3rd inning.
Yeah, indeed. Good placement by her. And Spartans have a nice track record of getting their leadoff hitter aboard, as you just saw there from Galehouse. And brings up the dangerous Corinne Miner.
So Corinne ready to go, and you can already see Embry Riddle's infield in. Throw back to first. Safe. Barely beats the pickoff. Galehouse almost caught off guard. So Rollins almost picking her off there. A good attempt there from Chelsea Peace. We've seen Peace really dangerous from home plate, being able to get runners out with good pickoffs and caught stealings. Let's see what Miner can do here. 0-1. And as you were mentioning earlier, maybe you get the infield in thinking bunt, and then take some swings to try to droop it in behind them, as we saw right there from Corinne. And hopefully as the glass is cleaned, we'll be able to see a little bit better thanks to the glare out in left field. Plays pause for 1 second. You see Troutman just making sure her shoes are tied. Here's now the 0-2 to Corinne Miner after that foul ball. That one's in the dirt. Ball 1. So with that, the count goes to 1-2.
Galehouse over at first base getting some instructions from assistant coach Denise Rubio.
There's a hit to left. It's going to go foul, but caught. Great play in left field. Galehouse tags up, gets to second, and safe. So it's a productive out, and a good play there by Moore to track it down and get the catch. Threw it in and was almost in time to get Galehouse out at second, but Galehouse fast enough to beat the throw. A runner's now at second with 1 out, so it's a very weird way to get a sacrifice play, but in the end, it's a sacrifice fly that advances a runner.
Yeah, really well-struck ball there by Corinne Miner. And UT with a runner on second here.
It's going to be grounded to short. Galehouse going to get to third, so 2 outs. Runner on third now. Fielder's choice there from Rollins. Smart play from Troutman. No hesitation to just get the lead runner out. Or not the lead runner. The runner headed to first. It can always be tempting to try to get the lead runner in that situation, where that could have led to a dangerous situation with runners at the corners with only 1 out.
Ouch.
It should be good now.
2 outs
pitch a little
here.
bit high. 1-0.
Lexi Chevalier, the batter, and her teammate And her starting pitcher, Mariah Galhouse, over at third base.
It's going to be a line drive. It misses. Tough play there, and that's going to be unfortunate for Tyler Joe Colby, just a few inches away from making a catch to end the inning. Instead, the Spartans now lead 3-0, and that's just a well-hit ball. Colby was almost able to get it. Walker eventually picked it up. The runner stays at first. Spartans lead 3-0. And now up, Emily Jansen. Swing and a miss for Jansen, strike one. No strikeouts yet for Worrell, but Worrell definitely going to want to get one here to end the inning and stop the bleeding a little bit more. Checks the wrist. Here's the 0-1. Fouled away, 0-2.
So Jansen behind here, although UT got to be happy adding to their lead. 3-0 now in the top of the third.
Here's the 0-2. Emily Jansen. Worrell outside, ball one. Worrell checking the wrist again. Here's the 1-2 now to Emily Jansen. Swing and a miss. But it didn't miss. It did miss. They were a little bit slow in getting off the field. I apologize. And that ends the inning. The Spartans do score a run on 2 hits, but in the end, one runner is ultimately stranded. Spartans still lead 3-0, and we will be back on Tampa Spartans TV, Sunshine State Conference Network for more NCAA playoff action.
I pledged.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Lexi Moore ready to go for the Tars to start the bottom of the third inning. Swing and miss, strike one. Tampa jumps out to an early lead, but Rollins still showing some fight, and they've had some good offensive success. 3 hits so far, and they're doing some damage against Galehouse. Tries to flash a bunt, misses. Strike two.
Yeah, now that the Spartans have given Galehouse that all-important run support, I think she's looking to make short work of the Tars here and not open that door at all, give them any hope of a comeback.
We always like to have fun and see some climatic finishes, but I know for the Spartans, they want this game to be done and dusted as smoothly as possible. Rollins will definitely want to leave things late or even just try to equal things up early. They don't want to go down, but Tampa, they don't want to have to worry about last inning heroics. Fouled off, Lexi Moore staying alive.
Valdosta State awaiting the winner of this game for a 1 o'clock game tomorrow.
As we mentioned before, that's a revenge game for both teams, as both suffered losses at the hands of Valdosta State. They'd love to try to get revenge to win the regional. Fouls away and stays alive. Count 1-2. That's popped foul. Lands to the left. As the sun continues its motion to set, it still makes left field incredibly hard to see. So we do apologize for any viewers at home that struggle with the glare. 1-2 one more time. Galehouse now to Moore. Swing and a miss. Just another strikeout from Mariah Galehouse. Second of the game. And that'll put one out in the bottom of the third inning. Back to the top of the order, Troutman, who was able to single in the first inning.
The Tars shortstop here in the bottom of the third, working against Mariah Galehouse again.
It's going to be grounded, but foul. No chance for Corinne to make a play. Count goes to 0-1. There's one out here.
Raven Bryant in the on-deck circle for Rollins.
That one's taken a little low. Ball one. Good eye to not go for that one. And here comes now the 1-1 with an even count to Troutman. Drops a bunt. Galehouse immediately on it, and that'll be the second out of the inning. Good play by Galehouse to immediately read that, because Troutman did a great job of trying to run it down and placed down a really great bunt.
Yeah, and a nice job by Alexa Russo to cover first, coming over from second, as Balmer had come in, Jansen had come in considering playing that one.
2 outs here. And strike one taken, fooled by the changeup. Bryant, last time out, had a fielder's choice to second. The 0-1. That's going to be grounded, and Galehouse, with an easy throw to Emily Jansen, retires the side. No runs, no hits, and no errors, as Rollins stays quiet for the bottom of the third inning. We'll be back next for the top of the fourth inning. Spartans due up Stephanie Balmer. And we will be back after this for more playoff softball. Welcome back to Namoli Family Stadium. Stephanie Balmer here with the first pitch, swings and misses. And I will say, if you're keeping track at home, that was pitch number 200 of the day for Waller and Worrell. Ashley Worrell, 200 pitches. The first one there being a strike. And that one lands a little bit low for ball one, but what a day that she's had, even though not the best start right now, with 3 runs conceded. Absolute massive stamina, massive endurance. A legendary outing for today. Coming off another day's of work the day before. So ball taken just a little bit outside.
Steph Balmer, the Spartan shortstop, walked in the second inning.
Fouled away. Now it's going to be, I think, 2-2. Count 2-2. Balmer scoring up for the bunt. The 2-2 from Worrell. Fouls away again, so Balmer doing a good job to stay alive. Balmer drew a walk last time up.
Two teams have combined for 7 hits so far in the game. 4 by the Spartans, 3 for Rollins. UT batting in the top of the fourth here.
Balmer squares up again, the 2-2. Fouled away, and that one actually hit into Balmer. She's going to be shrugging that one off. Looks like it hit in the elbow. If that hit the funny bone, then that arm's going to be stinging for quite a bit after that one. But she does stay alive in the at-bat regardless. Count still 2-2.
Got a friendly pat on the back from Mackenzie Allen, who's on deck, the number 9 hitter, and then we'll go back to the top of the order with Lauren Fantone.
That one's fouled away. So Balmer again staying alive. Allen on deck. Allen 1 for 1. We'll see how the Balmer battle finishes first. 2-2 from Worrell. Fouled away again. Balmer doing a good job to stay alive.
Yeah, she's certainly not doing Worrell any favors with this extended at bat. Certainly won't apologize for it.
Checks the wrist one more time. Balmer squares bunt. That's going to be a line drive. Gets into the outfield past Bryant. That's a base hit to lead off the top of the fourth inning. And that will bring Allen up to the plate, with who had an RBI single last time up.
UT's really doing a nice job finding the open spaces. Some well-placed hits so far in this game. And Mackenzie Allen looking to keep things going here offensively for UT now that she has Balmer on first.
Allen drops the sacrifice as it works. It gets Balmer to second, but Allen will be out at first. Surely, yes. So that'll be the first out of the inning. There was a little collision at first.
Yeah, that was Raven Bryant who came over to cover from her second base position and had the collision with Allen. So now we're back to the top of the order with Lauren Fantone, the Spartans designated player, or excuse me, Spartans left fielder, and Fantone 0 for 1 in this game. She got hit by a pitch then in the second inning when the bases were loaded.
That first pitch taken up high, and indeed, hit by pitch when the bases are loaded. Fantone did a good job of keeping the size of the plate smaller, so the pitch just that barely missed ended up hitting into her. That one almost hit into her again. Count goes 2-0 now.
Keep in mind that following that collision at first base, the out by Mackenzie Allen, Steph Balmer did advance to second, so UT with another runner in scoring position.
Tampa looking to continue to pile on the gap early. There's a third ball right here in a row. That one, this time a bait pitch for Fantone. Here's the 3-0. See if Fantone gets on base her second time. And she will. That's another walk, this time on 4 pitches. And with that, there's 2 runners on. And that is going to be Lily Keister stepping into the game. Currently no one warming up in the Rollins bullpen, though we did see pitchers earlier. Although at this point, I don't imagine that they're going to make the change. They're going to want to run with Waller as long as she wants to. And I think, Bruce, it comes to the end of the day that, and again, in the end, they're doing it for fun. They just want to play the game. And in the end, they're playing the game. And it's really cool to see. First pitch taken, ball 1. Keister ahead in the count. Chance of 2 runners on.
All that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up seeing someone up in the Rollins bullpen. I just don't know that Worrell can go another complete game. It's just asking so much of her, especially after having had to play an extra inning game before this one.
And I agree. And actually looking there is now more action in the bullpen. But for now, the action is also on the field. 1 out, runner on, 2 runners on. 1-1 count now. Keister. Keister can't get the bunt down. Both runners back as Peace was ready to check on them. Count goes to 1-2.
You know, while this game is still within reach for Rollins, I really think at this point you really got to have Worrell on a short leash.
That's going to be grounded, picked up at third. They get the out at first. There are 2 out in the inning. Runners on second and third.
Yeah, I think that's kind of one of those good news, bad news situations, getting the out at first. But as you mentioned, UT now with 2 runners in scoring position and a dangerous hitter in Mariah Galhouse.
I'd argue Galhouse is probably the reason that is a little bit of an uh-oh moment, because Galhouse is such a good hitter. But otherwise, runners at second and third with 2 outs. You know you just need 1 out to get out of the jam. That first pitch is going to be taken outside. Galhouse singled in her last plate appearance.
UT 2 for 5 in this game with runners in scoring position.
And generally, Tampa has struggled with runners in scoring position, so they're showing levels of clutch that we actually don't always see. But we've also seen clutch all day from Worrell, as she tries to retire the side here. 2-0 though to Galhouse. Galhouse gets under that. It's a ground ball, and it stays fair. It was a weird bounce that stayed fair. I don't blame Germer at all. I thought that was going to roll foul, but instead, as she lets it roll through her legs, it rolls back in play, so a run scores on one of the more odd RBIs you'll see. Runners at the corners with 2 outs. Spartans lead 4-0.
And this coming with 2 outs, and the Spartans 3 for 6 now, not only with runners in scoring position, but 3 for 6 in this game when there are 2 out.
Corinne ready to go. That first pitch taken low and inside, ball 1. And yeah,
that ball that we just saw there and the way that it looked like it was going to roll foul and didn't, I think that just kind of encapsulates what we've seen over the course of this day, and kind of one of those anything that can happen will happen.
That one taken, strike 1 there in the outside corner. And I will say that's, I think, just very unlucky. We've seen Rollins have such good luck in the late innings of the previous game. I think that might be Lady Luck saying, hey, you're going to need to pay up just a little bit for helping you out right there. And that bounce is just very unfortunately timed, given that Rollins also still trail by 3 beforehand, 4 now. A little bit of help after that foul ball from Minor. Count goes to 1-2, and a chance once more for Worrell to get out of the inning.
Runners on the corners. Spartans do have Fantone over at third, and of course now Galhouse in first.
That one's outside, ball 2. 2 runners on, 2 strikes and 2 outs. 2s across the board as the number 22 is at the plate. Worrell checks the wrist, readies and fires one more time to Corinne. That was close, but ball 3. Count goes full for Minor. Worrell checks the dugout, checks her wrist. Minor a single earlier. 3-2. There's a line drive, gets into the outfield, base hit, run scores, runners stay at second and first. And they actually almost were able to get Galhouse out at second as she was off the bag. Ball dropped. The inning will continue with 2 outs.
And Fantone just had a quick word for Alexa Russo as Russo comes to the plate. Obviously Fantone had a lot of time out there, not only with her at bat, but being on the base paths to watch Ashley Worrell quite a bit. So exchanging a little tip, a little strategy with her teammate, as the Spartans have now gone into a 5-0 lead.
And now we have Alexa Russo with 2 runners on and 2 outs. That one's in the dirt, ball 1. Russo grounded out in the previous play and also had a fielder's choice in the first, so 0 for 2 so far.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, this all coming with 2 outs, and Spartans not fazed by it, putting their hitting shoes on this inning.
Russo grounds it to third. The out is made at first, and the inning is over. However, the Spartans scored 2 on 3 hits and lead 5-0. And we will be back for the bottom half of the inning as Rollins looks to get going in offense. Leading off for Rollins will be Germer, and we'll be back with more playoff softball after the break.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby.
Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela Burgess. An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org/opportunity.
I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven.
We're back in the Moley Family Stadium. Tampa's offense has done well. So far, Rollins has been a little bit quieter. They currently lead 5-0, but still some time for Rollins to get back into it. The change-up for strike one taken there. Leading off this inning for Rollins is Germer, who struck out in her last at-bat. Germer also had an unlucky play in the previous inning. Tried to play a ball that was looking to roll foul as a foul ball, but unfortunately for her, it just rolls off the wrong pile of dirt to stay fair. Germer now 1-1 in the count after that one's taken low for ball one. Swing and a miss. Germer fooled by the changeup. Gelhaus not showing the struggle she had earlier today. A lot stronger from the circle so far, Bruce.
Yeah, and I think, there is still plenty of time for Rollins here. I think the Spartans are taking nothing for granted. As you see the strikeout there.
I think that's the way the Spartans need to play because complacency is always killer. And we saw Rollins down to the death with the ground ball that looked to end the game come back and stay alive. So even though this is a hard gap to come back from, anything is possible. First pitch is going to be taken. Strike one. That changeup again. So deadly from Gelhaus.
Yeah, because for all that we have seen, one thing we've not seen is a home run, and that temporary fence that was put in could be a factor and obviously could help the Tars get back in this game.
Now that's not going to be a home run, but that is going to be a base hit. Smart play by Allen to try to get the out at first, but out by plenty of steps. So Peace will be able to get on with one out here in the bottom of the fourth.
I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it feels like a home run is one of about the only things we haven't seen. What with the two games yesterday and the two games so far today, and so many oddities that have played out before us.
So we'll have to see what odd things happen next. Runner on, one out. First pitch, that's going to be grounded to short. Takes it herself and completes a double play to end the inning. So that's the second Spartans double play of the game to end the inning, and they'll still lead 5-0. And you got to feel for Rollins, that's just incredibly bad luck for the ground ball to go that way one more time when there have been ground ball plays from Tampa that just are too hard to field that could have been double plays on their own. Top of the fifth will come up next. Spartans still lead 5-0. Up next for Tampa, Lexi Chevalier. We'll be back after this. Worrell's day is finally done. A long start, one of legend and a historic one. 229 pitches over 14 innings for both games. But now she'll finally get a chance to rest and take a deep breath. Emily McMullen has come in for relief. Ready to go for the top of the 5th inning, Lexi Chevalier leads off. Had a single earlier for an RBI.
Ashley Worrell just may go to sleep in her uniform. Just has to be absolutely fatigued beyond all measure after the workhorse day that she's had. And certainly can say that she left everything she had on the field.
I agree. I don't think you can really fault anything wrong that she's done. Obviously, the stat line for this game doesn't look as pretty as for the first game, but again, she was already on over 140 pitches today, and quite a few pitches that still definitely were hanging over from the previous day. She ultimately has an 88-pitch outing for 5 innings. The game is definitely not lost. Tampa does have a sizable lead. Meanwhile, the new lefty on the mound, or circle, Emily McMullen, count now at 1-2 after that one, just drifts a bit high. Doing a good job battling against Chevalier so far.
Chevalier 1 for 2, including an RBI single.
Chevalier gets under that one. Should be shallow left. And they make the play in the outfield to get the first out of the inning. Moore was able to track that down.
And so that'll bring up Emily Jansen, who is 0 for 1, having struck out in the 3rd. She also walked back in the 2nd. And facing a different pitcher now. Let's see how she does.
That one went inside. She pulls back. Ball 1. And we're seeing a little bit more velo from the lefty, although that also is the effect that left-handed pitchers have. The ball looks like it's coming a little bit faster, so those pitches that are the same speed sometimes feel like they're about 1 to 2 miles an hour quicker from that side. Now, 2-0 count. Emily Jansen has a walk and strikeout so far. 2-0. That one's taken in the zone. A nice backdoor movement there. 2-1. Ready to go for Emily Jansen. Grounds at foul. Count goes to 2-2.
Certainly a privilege for the Spartans to host this weekend. And if you're in the viewing area, I encourage you to come out tomorrow. A game at 1 o'clock and possibly one more after that.
That's all going to depend whether Valdosta State loses or not. Should Valdosta State win at 1 p.m., they are the regional winner and will advance to the Super Regional. If they lose Game 1 at 1 p.m., they'll have to play at 4 p.m. for the final game of the series, where the winner will advance to the Super Regional. I'll have to double-check the other side of the bracket, but there is a possibility Valdosta State or Tampa could wind up as hosts for that series. 2-2 now for Emily Jansen. Just outside, ball taken. Close call, but a good eye from Jansen to not go for it. 3-2 count, 1 away. It's going to be grounded to third. Picked up, thrown cleanly to first for the second out of the inning.
That'll bring up Steph Ballmer. And Ballmer, the Spartan shortstop, singled in the 4th after having walked in the 2nd. But as I mentioned, now facing a different pitcher. So seeing how she fares against Emily McMullen, what with Ashley Worrell having finally taken place on the bench.
When it comes to platoon splits for righties and lefties versus lefties, righties are about the same against lefties as they normally are, but lefties generally struggle. Ballmer drops that bunt out by a step, so the inning is over. The Spartans go down in order. McMullen, good start to her relief stint. Tars are ready to go for the bottom of the 5th right after this.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
Tyler Joe Kobe ready to go, leading off for Rollins in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Rollins have a long road to go to get back into this, and time is starting to run out. The thing is, they've just not been able to convert with runners on base. They've actually had 4 hits, and with runners on, they are 1 for 6 so far, compared to Tampa hitting 33%.
Tyler Joe Colby 0 for 1 in this game. She ground out to short in the 2nd inning.
Here's the pitch, and that one absolutely fooled Tyler Joe Kobe, who looked at it and watched it just drop back into the zone. 0-2 count now. Gelhaus 3 strikeouts, looking for number 4. That one outside, ball 1. Gelhaus ready to go, the 1-2. That one's a line drive to center. Keister runs back and makes the play. And that'll be the first out of the inning.
Nice catch out there by Keister. I think that initially when the ball came off the bat, she was having trouble judging how far it was or was not going to go, and settled under it nicely.
Taylor Waters singled back in the 2nd inning, and now is here with no one on, 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. But I agree, Bruce. It looked like Keister was struggling to judge it at first, but was able to get her bearings and get down and make the catch. Had to back up a little bit, but it was in play well enough, and Keister didn't have to go too far, which also helped. Here's the 1-0 now, again to Waters. That one now lands in the zone, and that is an absolutely devious changeup from Gelhaus. Gelhaus, a little bit over, or getting close to 100 pitches in total today for herself, as she had a little bit under 50 in her first start. Here's the 1-2 now to Waters. It's going to be grounded. Gelhaus makes the play. And it's those fielding abilities that you were mentioning. Gelhaus wasn't trying to make a lot of those plays in Game 1. She really is in Game 2 for the Spartans. 2 outs now. And now we're going to see Jaden Walker ready to go.
Yeah, the Spartans, and I'm saying this in a complimentary way, really have things clicking on all cylinders, kind of an autopilot kind of thing, where every ball that's put into play, it's just very cleanly fielded and routine putouts.
Tampa's defense on fire so far, and it's hard to tell whether it's just a mix of maybe they understand the dirt better or maybe they're just a little bit better disciplined, but Tampa's been able to avoid a lot of the errors that have been big hiccups for teams like Rollins and Embry-Riddle earlier on. Anyway, that's a swing and a miss for strike 1 for Walker. Grounded into a double play last time. That's going to be a grounder to Balmer. Balmer picks it up despite nearly losing grip on it. And while tripping on the run back to the dugout, is able to get the final out of the inning. Tampa retires Rollins in order once more. Up next, Mackenzie Allen. We'll be back for more playoff soccer.
advantage of our numerous study rooms.
And we are back in the Moley Family Stadium, and the sun is shining bright, but in the unfortunate wrong direction where it's a little bit blinding for me and Bruce in the booth. I'm Taylor Storthy alongside Bruce Wozniak. Top of the sixth underway for the Spartans. Kenzie Allen leading off, and she was leaning back on that pitch. But no, that was strike one in the zone, so some good cutting action to fool her. Allen going to definitely struggle in this at-bat. Well, that's a switch hitter, although I do wonder why Allen's batting lefty against the lefty.
So far in this game, an RBI single for her in the second, and then a sacrifice in the fourth. And her team in a 5-0 lead, and perhaps playing with a chip on their shoulder, having had to be the visitor in the first game today and losing to Valdosta State, and wanting another chance at them tomorrow. Try to avenge that loss.
You go 2 now to Allen. It's going to be a grounder. Allen trying to use her speed. She will to get safe. And we see Mac Mullen help Tyler Joel Colby after that play, and a little bit of good teammate friendship there. Colby tried to make a good play there, but that was just an incredibly hard ball to field, and Allen is too fast to get caught out for that one. So it is a leadoff hit, the 8th of the game for the Spartans.
Yeah, it was a combination of good running there by Mackenzie Allen and just the ball bouncing in such a place that 3 different Tars players converge on it. No one's able to make a play in time.
Keister drops a bunt, throw to first in time, so the sacrifice does the job. I apologize. Keister's ready to go now, as that was Fantone with the sacrifice bunt.
Allen on second base. UT with another runner in scoring position.
Keister 0 for 3 today. The chance to try to help expand that Spartans lead even more. That's going to be a ground ball. Gets to second. She won't beat the throw, but it's a productive out. Allen will get to third. That's going to bring up Mariah Galehouse, looking to help her cause once again. She already has 2 hits and an RBI so far. Now is a runner on third with 2 outs.
It's interesting because UT now 4 for 9 instead of 4 for 8 with a runner in scoring position, but as you said, it's still a productive at bat because it does advance Allen to third. So even though they didn't convert the run and there's 2 outs, all of a sudden Mackenzie Allen that much closer to making it 6-0.
Galehouse sends that deep to left field. It looks like it's going to be foul. That is disappointing because that's the first one we've seen clear the fences like that, apart from another foul ball earlier, but it's just a little bit too far to the left. Count now goes to 1-1. We know Galehouse can get some wind under the ball. Only 1 home run this season, though. Would love a second right here, even though stakes not super high. That one's going to go high, ball 2. 2-1 count now for Galehouse. Looking to continue a strong hitting day. Even though her first pitching outing wasn't amazing, her hitting was pretty solid. Getting multiple hits in the first game. There's a flare to right, and it's going to get down. So that's an RBI single once again for Mariah Galehouse. The Spartans now take a 6-0 lead.
And that goes back to the importance of the at-bat that moved Allen over to third, because now that little bloop single allows her to score, and UT increases the lead with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
Corinne Miner, 2 for 3 with an RBI. There's a line drive to center, but it's a good catch made by Troutman, and the inning is over. Spartans score once on 2 hits and lead 6-0 entering the bottom half of the 6th inning. We'll be back as we're going to see more leadoff for Rollins.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Lexi Moore leads off for the Tars in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Moore so far, 0 for 1 with a K. Fouls that one away. So interesting to see, a lot of the Spartans players have had 2, maybe 3 at-bats so far, but for Rollins, they're just about to finish their 2nd cycle around the order.
Yeah, that's right. Moore is the number 9 hitter. And so we'll see 9, 1, and 2 here in the bottom of the 6th.
I think that just kind of shows how good Galehouse has been so far from the circle, being very efficient and limiting the batter's face. Even though there have been 4 hits, they haven't been able to do anything with them yet. Rollins still has some time, but they're going to need to get some things started soon. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's strikeout number 4 for Mariah Galehouse.
And it's a case of coulda, shoulda, woulda, but I think this is clearly the Mariah Galehouse that they were hoping to see in the game earlier today against Valdosta State, where she had to be lifted in favor of Mary Beth Feldman.
Strike 1 taken. And indeed,
Galehouse very much in control this game.
We're seeing the stuff that is classic for Feldman, why she's been the go-to pitcher for the Spartans. And as well, because she's had a great hitting day, too, proving why she's a versatile two-way player. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tool, whatever you say. It's going to be grounded to short, bobbled by Balmer. It was going to be a close play no matter what, but a good job there by Troutman to beat the throw, as Balmer couldn't handle it cleanly to get on base.
Brings up Raven Bryant, who hit into a fielder's choice in the 1st, and then ground out to Galehouse in the 3rd.
Strike 1 taken on the inside corner. That's a line drive down the line, but veers to the foul side on the left. Count is going to go to 0-2. That's going to be grounded. Galehouse makes the throw and gets the force out at first. Runner stays at second, so fielder's choice. Actually, not a fielder's choice. Well, the choice was to go to first, and ultimately advances the runner, so it's productive, but disappointing now with 2 outs. Runner on second. Germer, a chance to go, struck out twice in her first 2 plate appearances. Galehouse ready and fires. Swing and a miss. Throw back to second, not in time.
Good heads-up play there by Chevalier, though, trying to catch Troutman off base.
And Chevalier did a good job of masking that throw. Didn't look too different from her standard throws back to Galehouse, as she does right there. Troutman getting some big leads, but having to go back. Here's the 1-1. Drops a bunt to try to catch them off guard. Throw to first. Not in time. Russo wasn't able to even get to the bag. Runners are now at the corners with 2 outs. So it was a risky play, but Germer has the pace to beat out the throw. Runners at the corners, 2 away.
Yeah, exactly. Real good speed there shown coming out of the batter's box by Germer.
And now up for Rollins is Chelsea Peace. Chance with 2 runners on to try to help Rollins cause a little bit. Grounded to third, gets through the outfield. Rollins gets their first run of the game. Runners now first and second with 2 away.
Peace is having herself quite a game. She had singled in the first and fourth innings and now drives in a run there with her 3rd single of the game.
So Peace, a great job, 3 for 3 so far. And now we're going to have Sarah Young at the plate with 2 runners on. Actually, there's going to be a pinch hitter, it looks like. Reagan Rayleigh, number 20, coming into the game for Rollins.
Reagan Rayleigh, a senior from up in the Panhandle, Gulf Breeze, Florida. And her team now on the scoreboard, trailing 6-1 in the bottom of the 6th. 2 outs.
Here's the 0-0. That one's going to be taken high. That one's going to be in the zone, 1-1.
So Galhouse in unfamiliar territory here, not having faced Rayleigh yet in this game.
Rayleigh, the senior from Gulf Breeze, Florida. That one low in the dirt, ball 2. Good to see Rayleigh get a pinch hit chance here and try to help her team out. And already has a good count, leading on Galhouse. Strike 2 this time, down low and inside. 2-2, 2 outs and 2 runners on. The number 20 looking to extend the inning. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Galhouse. Just outside, very close. And those have been tough all game.
Crucial moment here, Rayleigh to try to keep this inning alive.
3-2. That's going to be grounded foul. Almost looked like it would be playable for Corinne, but drifts a little bit too much to the left. And Rayleigh will have another chance with a full count, 2 runners on.
Now that Rollins has gotten on the board, especially with a runner in scoring position, they need to continue it.
And that one, ball 4. Bases are now loaded with 2 outs. And now we are going to see Cantor head to the circle. And I think just some words of encouragement here saying, listen, we're in a good spot. Just need 1 out. Keep focused.
In the meantime, Tyler Joe Colby waiting to come to the plate. She's 0 for 2 so far. Ground out to short in the 2nd inning and then flew out to center field in the 5th. And she, of course, getting some instructions from her coach as well. And like I said, an opportunity now for the Tars with the bases loaded, albeit 2 outs.
So 2 outs, Tyler Joe Colby with a ground out and fly out in the 2nd and 5th innings. Colby flashes bunt. It's going to ground it. Russo can't get it up the middle. All the way to Keister. Run scores. Throw into the plate. Not in time. 2-run scores. A 2 RBI single. And Rollins have now cut the deficit in half. 6-3. Spartans still lead, but the Tars feeling a lot better about this now. And the tying run is technically at the plate in Taylor Waters.
Yeah, the Tars very opportunistic there. And I had mentioned when Rayleigh was that bad, and then similarly for Colby, really crucial at bats, and they came through.
That one low, ball 1.
Rayleigh drew the walk, and then you see Tyler Joe Colby with the RBI single, 2 RBI single.
Ball 2 now. A 2-0 count to Water with the single earlier, and of course the ground out. Fouls that one away. They were slow to get started with getting some hits with runners in scoring position and on base, but now they're 4 for 10 and 3 for 4. Runners on base and runners in scoring position. That's going to be foul, just barely. Count will now go to 2-2.
This is where it's going to be a factor that Rollins is actually the home team, because if they can either add to this now or combine it with shutting down UT in the top of the 7th, they'll still have another at-bat, and clearly they have no quit in them, as you're seeing here.
That one's going to be tipped away, and indeed, Rollins fighting even on the final play. They are always showing tons of effort, so not a surprise to see them start right here. They'll have to wonder whether they can continue to convert this bottom half of the order, or whether they might have to wait until the bottom half of the 7th. The 2-2 one more time. Line drive up the middle to Keister. Bases could be loaded. Runner going to stay at third. Playing it safe because they do know about Keister's arm. And now the go-ahead run at the plate. Tying run at first. And really stressful situation for the Spartans now. And looks like we are going to see a motion for the bullpen. Galehouse's day will be done. We see the familiar sight. Allen to the bench. Galehouse to right field. And coming back to the circle, it looks like
well, while we wait, I'll tell you the Tars, things have really turned. They all of a sudden 4 for 5 with runners in scoring position, and those stats have really changed dramatically from them. And they got to be feeling really confident. If you look at the scoreboard, sure, they're down by 3, but they've been doing this, as I said, with 2 outs.
So, Feldman ready and was about to take a warm-up pitch as the umpire was walking through, so that would not have been good if the umpire got hit. But now it is Mary Beth Feldman coming into the game. Feldman came in relief and was able to do a good job, only surrendering 1 run in a little over 4 innings of work. I imagine that Feldman will probably get the call to start tomorrow, should Tampa be able to play in it. But of course, as we've seen Rollins start to come back, that's definitely going to be a debate if Tampa can hold the lead.
And Taylor, you and I have talked about Galehouse and Feldman essentially being the aces of the staff, but just a little bit surprised, I think, that we didn't see Corinne Miner come in to pitch at all.
And I agree, because Miner used to be the big 1-2 alongside Galehouse. But Miner a little bit slower this season, a little bit weaker in the stats. Still sub-2.5 ERA with a good amount of work, so great overall, but shines a little bit less brightly when compared to her teammates. Her bat has never been better, though. Or her bat has always been really good, and that's where she still plays such a valuable role. First pitch taken, strike 1.
This is Jaden Walker, the right fielder. She hit into a double play in the 2nd, then ground out to short in the 5th.
Here's the 0-1 now for Walker. That one's going to be taken high, ball 1.
Each team now with 9 hits.
So another offensive fury. Here, 9 runs scored in this one. That was more than the entirety of the first 2 day 1 games. Here's the 1-1. That's a line drive to center field. Gets down, 1 run scores. Here comes the 2nd. Throw in the 3rd. Not in time. Throw to 2nd. Not in time. Runners in 2nd and 3rd. The game is now 6-5. Rollins has been on an absolute tear this bottom half of the inning. What looked like it could have been done and dusted is very much far from it. 6-5. Spartans lead, but now the go-ahead run on 2nd, tying run at 3rd, and Lexi Moore, who has struck out twice, wanting to change that here, could change it and put her team up with this at-bat. Fouled away for strike 1.
Yeah, you really got to credit Rollins for finding their 2nd wind and putting all this offense together here in the bottom of the 6th.
They get hot at the right time, and that's one of the most important things. It's never over till it's over. Here's a bunt, caught by Chevalier, and the Spartans will still lead entering the top of the 7th, but Rollins not dead yet. 6-5 Spartans lead, top of the 7th, ready to go. Up next, Russo, Chevalier, and Jansen. Playoff softball and the thrilling conclusion of the final game in the losers bracket right after this.
This is the University of Tampa. UT students travel from across the nation and around the globe to join a dynamic learning community. There are 150 academic programs, continuing studies for non-traditional students, and a highly ranked graduate school. Academic opportunities are extensive and rigorous, but this mid-sized residential campus retains a welcoming feel. With a student-faculty ratio of 16:1, students benefit from direct interaction with expert faculty, a faculty that is passionate about teaching and mentoring. Outside the classroom, UT enjoys a unique environment. Plant Hall, a National Historic Landmark, is surrounded by modern and historic buildings on 105 acres. UT's beautiful downtown riverfront setting offers a gateway to the heart of a vibrant city. Students are within walking distance of...
So far, McMullen has done a good job in the circle. He'll be tasked to try to keep the Spartans at bay for the top half of the 7th inning. Score, 6-5 Spartans lead after a monstrous bottom of the 6th from the Tars. That one taken outside, ball 1. Russo 0 for 3 today with 2 groundouts and a fielder's choice. The 1-0 now, ready to go. Swing and a drive. That one's going far. There's a chance. Way back. See ya! Solo shot, Alexa Russo. The Spartans lead by 2. Russo was the only one to hit it over to the normal Spartan wall and is the first Spartan to hit it over the shorter wall. Spartans lead 7-5 off the solo shot. Russo needed a first hit, and it comes at an important time. Spartans had the lead, but now that lead feels a little safer, although the Tars will still have the bottom half of the inning coming up. But a huge at-bat for the Spartans.
Yeah,
puts them a little bit closer to securing a ticket to the regional final.
Tremendous response and a great way for the Spartans to answer back after the Tars, rightfully so, feeling awfully confident with that 5-run bottom of the 6th. And change in the pendulum of momentum here as the Spartans all of a sudden put the Tars a little bit further back on their heels and some work to be done. And even better news if you're a Spartans fan is that was the first at-bat of the inning, so there's no outs yet. And now the lead at 2.
1-1 now to Chevalier. Count now 2-1. And indeed, Bruce, no outs and still plenty to play for. And some good hitters coming up. Chevalier, 1 for 3 so far. Fly out in her most recent at-bat. That one fouled away. Count goes to 2-2. But yeah, always great to start off the inning with a home run, and that was equally important because the Spartans could have been feeling a little bit down in the dumps after losing that 6-run lead, turning it to a 6-5 lead. But that just helps, I think, put a block in the middle of the big run from Rollins to give them some extra confidence moving forward. Full count now, 3-2.
Certainly there's something unpredictable out there that we can't count on, but I had said earlier that it felt like we had seen so much that about the only thing missing was a home run, and now we have that.
There's a drive from Chevalier going deep. This one won't clear the wall. That's the first out of the inning. Even though that wall is brought in, that deep ball to center is still more often than not a fly out. Disappointing for Chevalier, but it'll now bring up Emily Jansen. Walked, struck out, and grounded out. 0 for 2 so far.
Yeah, you're right, because if that temporary fence wasn't there, Russo's ball would not have gone over what is normally the outfield fence here. So it works to UT's advantage in that case, and she gets the home run.
That one taken, ball 1. Emily Jansen gets ahead in the count. That one taken high, ball 2. Good patience here from Emily Jansen. looking to get ahead in the count. That one breaks inside, but not far enough. Ball 3.
Alexa Russo had 3 home runs, was tied for the team lead with Corinne Miner. So number 4 for her in 2022.
The 3-0, and Emily Jansen, strike 1 in the inside corner. Almost looked like she was going to get a 4-pitch walk, but just in the zone. 3-1 now to Emily Jansen. This time it's ball 4. Emily Jansen draws a 5-pitch walk, and that will bring up Stephanie Ballmer, who's 1 for 2 today. Ballmer's previous plate appearances was a walk, a single, and a ground out.
And getting another player on base, that's just another shot in the arm for UT that can only put a little bit bigger of a lump in the throat of the Tars players, being up 7-5 and giving up that home run, and all of a sudden having Jansen at first.
And notably as well, you mentioned another player on base. While there figuratively and now literally is another player on base, a pinch runner's in for the Spartans, Abigail Siegel. That one's strike 1 inside. Oh, 1 now to Ballmer. 1 away, 1 on. Checks the wrist and fires. That one low, ball 1. The 1-1 now with 1 out. That one outside, 2-1. Siegel on first, calm and collected, not doing anything, just waiting for the right opportunity to get running. Now here's the 2-1 again, Stephanie Ballmer. Ballmer pops this one up, but it looks like it'll bounce off the net out of play.
Spartans have really spread out their offense in this game. They've scored 1 or more runs in all but the first and 5th innings, whereas Rollins, all 5 of their runs in the bottom of the 6th. That's where we stand now, 7-5.
So the 2-2 now to Ballmer. Pops that one up again, fouls it away, so staying alive in the count. On deck, unless there's a double play, we will likely see Allen, who is now the designated player. It's a hit. Two-two. That's going to be a line drive. Gets down for a base hit. Siegel stays at 2. Runners at first and second with 1 out.
Spartans really responding nicely here to the challenge thrown down by the Tars by virtue of those 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th, answering back with not only the home run from Russo, but now 2 runners aboard, and Mackenzie Allen, the batter, and still just 1 out.
Allen ready to go. The 0-0. That one's going to be taken outside, ball 1. So Allen's stats so far in the game, 2 at-bats is 2 for 2, alongside an RBI. So great game here for Mackenzie Allen. Allen tries to drop a bunt. Tampa caught off guard, and Germer looked to first and looked to second, and I'm not sure if she realized that her teammate, Bryant, was actually at first, ready for a double play. Either way, it does get 1 out, so it is a good outing where no runner advances. They're now 2 away in the top half of the 7th inning. Fantone back up again. Fantone has already had quite a few at-bats today. And actually taking a look, no, Fantone has only had 1 true at-bat. This time, this is going to be her first hit. Siegel stays at 3rd. Bases are now going to be loaded for Keister, who's been 0 for 4 so far.
Now UT really answering the challenge thrown down by Rollins.
And notably,
so Keister, who's 0 for 4, there's those that would argue that means that she's due. Let's see how she does here. UT 6 for 12 with runners in scoring position in this game.
That one, ball 1. And interesting, If I was Cantor, I might have run a pinch hitter here because of the platoon advantage that you'd get from a righty pinch hitter instead of Keister, who's a lefty. Even though I do trust Keister, she's a really good hitter for the Spartans, has had some huge at-bats earlier in the season, including the walk-off that helped secure Mary Beth Feldman's perfect game. The lefty-on-lefty advantage with her 0 for 4, don't think spells a lot of good news, but again, Bruce, she could be due. That one is going to be 3-0 now, so Keister sort of beginning to prove me wrong here, as she's worked herself a really good count. Bases loaded, 3-0, on deck Galehouse. That one inside, so a run is walked home. Spartans take an 8-5 lead, and Galehouse comes in with the bases loaded.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for the Tars, putting up those 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th and drawing to within 1, and all of a sudden Spartans responding here, and the news only gets worse for Rollins because not only did the bases remain loaded, but you got Mariah Galehouse coming up to bat, and Galehouse is 3 for 4 in this game.
And so we are going to see another pitching change for Rollins. This time it's going to be Katie Eicher coming in, number 44. Bases loaded, 2 outs, tricky situation.
And Eicher, a 4.32 earned run average, 7 appearances this year, a 2-0 1-loss record, and only pitched 11 1/3 innings. So out of gas, Ashley Worrell, and obviously just not satisfied with what Emily McMullen is doing here in relief, and so they go to Eicher.
Good news
see
for
if she can stop the bleeding.
Good news for Eicher is she only needs to figure out how to get 1 out, but of course the pressure is on with the bases loaded, and the runs starting to tip back into the Spartans' favor after Rollins looked to try to bring it back to level with an electric bottom half of the 6th inning. So
Galehouse, wow, grounded out to second in the first, and then singled in the third, singled in the fourth, singled in the sixth, couple of RBI, providing the run support that you always talk about for herself.
Indeed, Galehouse on fire. And there's a wild pitch, or the first pitch for Eicher, and the Spartans will now lead 9-5.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Rollins. And, of course, certainly they will have their at-bat in the bottom of the 7th, but, boy, they had cut this to a 1-run game. And you got to credit UT at the same time for being opportunistic here in the top of the 7th.
That's pitch is going to go high. A good catch right there by Peace. But, yeah, honestly, it's kind of weird to see the Spartans scoring this many runs. They have been very proficient in offense today, even though they were only able to score 4 in a 5-4 loss. They're now scoring 9 in what's currently a 9-5 win. Here's the 2-0. That one's fouled by Galehouse.
You have to walk in a run if you're Rollins and then allow another run to score in a wild pitch. Those are really tough to take. And big difference between 7-5 and now 9-5.
Spartans ready to go. Runners in second and third. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Galehouse fooled that time. Count is going to go 2-2.
I think if after that bottom of the 6th, when Rollins scored 5 times, I think if you would have told UT, don't worry about it, you're going to have your biggest offensive inning of the game thus far in the top of the 7th, they'd say, how? Never mind, we'll take it.
The 2-2. Galehouse going to foul that one away into the bullpen. I will say one thing, though. Rollins probably thinking, hey, we scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th. Why can't we do it again in the 7th?
Exactly. UT no runs in the first, and then 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, none in the fifth, 1 in the 6th, and 3 here in the 7th. Really spreading out the offense.
Galehouse ready to go. 2-2 again. He's fouled the last couple pitches off. There's a drive to center. It should drop in time. It will. Waters makes the play. 2 runners left on base, but the Spartans score 3 and now lead by 4. 9-5 entering the bottom of the 7th inning. Can the Spartans close out Rollins? We'll find out right after this.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can. And then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision.
We are ready to go. Bottom of the 7th, outfield. Little final celebratory team bonding jump for joy. Feldman looking to close out the game and send the Spartans to the regional final. The Rollins Tars trying to say, hey, not if I have anything to say about it. Troutman will lead off. Last took an at-bat in the 6th, where Troutman was able to get a single and ultimately come home as one of the 5 runs scored in that inning.
Yeah, we're at the top of the order, and she's 2 for 3, so there's some encouragement right there for Rollins. And like you said, Taylor, they scored 5 in the bottom of the 6th, so they know they can do it. Of course, there was the pitching change, so now it's Mary Beth Feldman that they'll have a look at. And as you see, conference over here with the home plate umpire and the Rollins coach. Feldman came in the last inning.
Feldman came in for a lengthy release stint in the previous game. But with the lengthy bit of rest, he's able to come back in here. And the difference is, she's only being called upon for the final inning and a third at work right now. So far, only 1/3 pitched, faced 2 batters, and surrendered a single hit. Looks like we're finally ready to get underway. Troutman once again will lead off for Rollins. Spartans lead 9-5, no one on. 3 outs to go. Swing and a miss for strike 1. As we say, last chance saloon is open. The road will be long, but Rollins has made it before, and they have stared on the brink of death and came back before. While the Spartans finally shut them down.
Raven Bryant on deck, and then she'll be followed by Grace Germer. And the 1, 2, and 3 hitters combined 3 for 9 at the top of the Rollins order.
So good set of batters to have up if you're the Tars, wanting to generate some offense. Swing and a miss, strikeout for Mary Beth Feldman. First one of this game right here, and 2 outs to go.
Good pitch there by Feldman. She really got Troutman to reach for that one.
And Troutman's not the player you always see reaching at stuff, so disappointing for Troutman, and good news for Feldman. Now up, Bryant, uncharacteristically struggling here, 0 for 3, but once again, Bruce, you could argue, being 0 for 3, she is due for one. That first pitch taken, strike 1. Fielder's choice and 2 groundouts earlier. Here's the 0-1. That one's going to be taken high. Ball 1.
22 hits between these two teams, 12 for UT and 10 for Rollins.
1-1 with 1 out. That one's going to be low, but just a bit too low.
This is quite the opposite of the 1-run, low-scoring games that we saw here yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, already 14 runs in this game. In fact, more runs have been scored within the past 1 1.5 innings than we'd seen entirely throughout yesterday. So, a lot of offensive displays here, and we'll wonder whether that will continue tomorrow, whether Tampa or Rollins faces Valdosta State. Here's the 2-2. That one's low. Count will go full for Raven Bryant. Bryant would like to reach base for the first time here, not on a fielder's choice, and wouldn't mind a walk or a hit or anything else.
Feldman, on the other hand, with a chance to get out number 2 here.
Swing and a miss, second strikeout of the inning. And now Rollins down to their last out again. So both Feldman and Galehouse out of the gates on fire so far. Galehouse was good all the way up into the 6th inning until the Rollins offense came alive and started to put a huge dent into the Spartans' lead. Spartans were able to patch it up, and now we're looking for the finishing blow. Germer, the one player standing in the way of the rematch between Valdosta State and Tampa. First pitch taken outside. A good eye from Germer. I think she's working a little bit more for her discipline here. Did strike out 2 times earlier in the 1st and 4th. In the 6th inning, she got a single and ultimately scored. The 1-0. Fouled away. Count will go to 1-1.
And they definitely want to get Germer out here because on deck is Chelsea Peace, who's 3 for 3 in this game. So UT needs to shut down the Tars now because we're not going to count them out. I don't care that it's down to the last out. After what we saw in the last game, Rollins will absolutely scratch and claw their way till the finish line.
Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss down to the final strike. But once again, Rollins were down to the final strike earlier. They were able to fight their way out of it. Germer focused, ready to go. Feldman focused, ready to go. Feldman doesn't need to check the wrist or the dugout. From the circle, here comes the 1-2. High, ball 2. Count goes to 2-2 now. And of course, Peace on deck, 3 for 3. An absolutely electric bat today. And definitely a bat the Spartans do not want to face. Feldman ready to go. 2-2. That's shanked foul.
And Germer, too, watching her yesterday and today, she has shown to be proficient with the bat. And definitely working Mary Beth Feldman here in the bottom of the 7th.
2-2 for Germer. That's a line drive. Ballmer makes the catch. And we will see the Spartans tomorrow taking on Valdosta State for Rollins. It's been a great run. A real Cinderella run. And what a game they've had. Worrell and Elite Day pitching will be ultimately credited with the loss. But over 200 pitches in 14 innings. What a day she's had for her team. The offense nearly coming back in the bottom of the 6th. We've seen some great hitting performances from them too. Peace 3 for 3. Trellman 2 for 4. Waters 2 for 3. But it wasn't enough as the Spartans were also lightning hot as we saw big performances from them courtesy of Galehouse. 3 for 5 with 2 RBI. And of course, Alexa Russo. A solo shot over the wall in the top of the 7th. The winning pitcher, Galehouse, despite conceding a few runs by the end, she still is able to get the win. And Feldman will have a good job securing a hold here with 2 strikeouts and 1 1/3 innings pitched. So, the regional final is set. The Tampa Spartans will face the Valdosta State Blazers. If Valdosta State wins at 1 p.m., they will win the region. If Tampa wins, we will go down to the winner-take-all 4 p.m. game. So stay tuned, of course. We're going to have an award ceremony for Rollins, who have just been eliminated. But what a season they have had.
And the final line score in this game for the Spartans, 9 runs, 12 hits, no errors, and the Tars, 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors. And Taylor, as you mentioned, the home run by Russo really kind of ignited that top of the 7th for the Spartans and gave them a nice big cushion that they'd build up and pull away from Rollins for the 9-5 final score.
Indeed. So, we thank you for tuning in, as we will cut away in a minute to let you enjoy the awards ceremony. If you're viewing from the Rollins perspective, thank you and congratulations on a great season. And for Tampa Spartans fans, make sure you tune in tomorrow. We'll be back again. I'm not Bruce Wozniak. I'm Taylor Storthy, and I am alongside Bruce Wozniak. It's always been a pleasure to work with Bruce in the booth. We will see you tomorrow on Tampa Spartans TV, Sunshine State Conference. Thank you for tuning in for the NCAA South Regional. Thanks, Tom. Right now, actually, I think Tom's just got something that worked.
Tyler Joel Colby.
See, Bruce, fan?
Hopefully, we got 2 games to Hiker. Let's see more.
Thank you. Taylor? Thanks, Tom.
Chelsea.
We got 2 games tomorrow with our work. Hey! That's the goal.
Ricky Rayleigh.
Then we got Sunday, and we got baseball.
Ashley
What
Will.
Auburn does. Yeah, that's good. I didn't even look today. What did they do today? They crushed their opponent. Auburn did? Yep.
Assistant coach Tommy Frederick. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the Rollins College Stars.